Hello dear students. In our previous module, we studied that how can we separate things around us into living and non-living. We studied about certain common characteristics of living things like nutrition, respiration, growth and excretion. Today in this module, we will discuss some more common characteristics of living organisms like reproduction, movement, response to stimuli, lifespan and structural organization. So first, we will study about the reproduction. Dear students, all living things have the ability to produce more of their own kind, and this ability to produce young ones of their own kind is called reproduction. Reproduction is necessary for living things to survive generation after generation. It maintains the continuity of life on earth. Now, the mode of reproduction varies in different animals. Some animals produce their young ones through eggs, like in birds, whereas some animals give birth to young ones, as we see in cows, cats, and human beings. But what happens in the case of plants? Dear students, like animals, plants also reproduce by different modes. Some plants reproduce through seeds, as in case of pea, gram, mango. Some reproduce through stem cuttings, as in rose and henna. Whereas some plants reproduce through stem pieces, which contains a bud, as we see in the case of potato. Now, the next characteristic of living beings is movement. Living things show movement. Most animals move from one place to another and also show other body movements. Most plants do not move. They are fixed to the soil, but they show movements of certain parts like leaves, stems, roots and flowers. In most plants, the stem moves towards light and the roots grow downwards in the soil. The flower changes its position to face the sun in a sunflower plant. The leaves fold when touched in a touch-me-not plant. So these are the examples of movement in plants. Next characteristic of living organisms is their definite lifespan. Living things have a definite lifespan. Organisms are born, they grow up to become adults, and then gradually turn old and finally die. Different organisms have different lifespans. For example, a bacteria lives for about 20 minutes. Male mosquitoes live for about 10 days. Butterflies live for a month. Dogs live for 10 to 14 years. Elephants live for 50 to 80 years. And tortoises live for 100 to 150 years. Lifespan of plants also varies. Some pine trees are known to have lived for more than 2000 years. Now, the next characteristic of living organisms is their structural organization. All living things are made of cells. A cell is the smallest unit of living things. Some living things are made up of only a single cell like amoeba, yeast and bacteria. And these organisms which are made up of only one cell are called unicellular organisms. Whereas most organisms are made up of millions of cells. These are called multicellular organisms. For example, human being, housefly, dog, horse, rose, mango and pea plant are the examples of multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms have a structural organization. A group of similar cells form a tissue, and then a group of similar tissues perform the specific function, form an organ. A set of organs form an organ system, for example, digestive system, respiratory system, nervous system, excretory system, reproductive system, and then these several organ systems form an organism. So these are the various characteristics of living organisms. Thank you.